Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Five a Day. This is our last one of this week. If Matthew 5 to 7 encapsulates Jesus' teaching, then the Beatitudes, just these few verses, are, if you like, a steroid injection of it. For me, it's fascinating. You could spend your life really just studying these few chapters, maybe even these few verses. And so we've been doing a lightning tour, and we're up to the last two. And so let me read you Matthew 5, 9 and 10. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the peacemakers. We live in a world that's kind of divided in many ways. It's full of division and hostility. Politicians have this thing of divide and conquer, and so now all the politicians in all the major countries seem to create division deliberately over particular policies. You just go onto Facebook a bit. Facebook's wonderful for connecting with family, for posting nice pictures, seeing what you're doing, but there's also the other side of Facebook that people are just seem to be venting what they want to say, and they don't care how offensive it is. I was listening to some discussions on Radio 4 just the other day in the car, and there's the whole thing, with media and elsewhere discussing, are we a more angry society than we've been? Are we much more divisive in the way that we talk to each other, in the way we do things? Has debate and discussion gone out the window because the modern thing is to be hard on one side, hard on the other, and to just be angry and throw bile at each other? Blessed are the peacemakers. And that really does mean peacemakers in whatever way, making peace. And what does it say? What will they be? They'll be called children of God. Why? Well, Jesus is known as the Prince of Peace. And we're Christians, the New Testament tells us, are co-heirs with Christ. We're brothers and sisters with Christ. We come into that aspect. So if Jesus is the Prince of Peace, then we're called to be peacemakers. Love these verses. Isaiah 52, speaking of prophesying about Jesus. How lovely on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who announces peace and brings good news of happiness, who announces salvation and says to Zion, your God reigns. And peace is linked with salvation. In Romans 10:15 we have this: how will they preach unless they are sent? Just as it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news of good things. Jesus came to bring peace between God and man, to reconcile us, to connect us together, but also he stretched out his arms on the cross, and that speaks of connecting man with man. On either side of the cross, the Gospels tell us there were others being executed, and some accepted and some rejected, but Jesus stretches out his arms to all, to connect all with God and to connect all with each other, not to separate us, not to keep us separated, not to keep age-old traditions running that mean that you don't like so-and-so and you possibly don't even know why you were just brought up to think of them in that way. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of God. And these are linked, because you think, well, peacemakers, everybody loves that. But you probably discovered that they don't. That a lot of people are just quite happy to stay in their divisions, in their anger, and holding on to their hatred of others. We've seen so much of that around the world in the last few weeks. And as some people have stopped and thought about it and listened to people who are, in the Black Lives Matters, and listen to what they're saying, listen to their stories, others have just taken a hard line and have gone anti and are throwing stuff out. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness. Righteousness, that is just living for Christ. That is sharing the good news in the gospel, because the ultimate peace comes from this reconciliation with God that comes through Christ. And so Christians are peacemakers, and because they're peacemakers, it means that the ultimate peace is the gospel. And so they share the gospel of salvation. They tell people that they can come to God, that they can be born again of God's Spirit, and they can be part of the kingdom of God now and for eternity. And people will reject that. So, oh no, that's going against tradition. That's going against what other people believe. That's really bad. But actually, it's peacemaking. And Jesus was rejected. His close followers were all, in one way or another, apart from John, executed. And we will be. Christians all around the world are persecuted because of righteousness. And we know that something like 100,000 Christians die every year through persecution. Probably 80% of those who die from persecution for religious reasons on average throughout the world. You'll be persecuted because of the sake of righteousness. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. But ultimately, we're not in it for this life. Ultimately, we're not in it for the moment. But we're living for eternity. And we're living not just under the principles of Christ, but Christ's love and his life. Christ dwells within us, and so that must come out. And these Beatitudes speak of what must come out of a Christian's born again. So, hey, continue to share the good news. Continue to bring peace to people. And the only peace that really reconciles is the gospel. God bless you. Have a fantastic day. And I look forward to catching up with you next week from Monday to Friday. Please catch Nottingham Hill Community Church's live service on Sunday. It's on YouTube, or just go to Nottingham Hill Community Church YouTube channel and have a look at some of the back stuff as well. There's some great things there we hope will really bless you. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend.